Good evening, class. My name is Tom Abbott. I'm going to be your instructor throughout the course, Business 411. So I'd like to welcome you, maybe give you a little bit of background about the course, about me, about what we're going to be doing, and about how we're going to be doing it. So if you would just indulge me and take a few minutes and follow along, I think this will help us get off to a better start. First things first about me, I am the program manager here at the university for the Business Administration program, which, as you know, is the largest program in the university, so a lot of things still fall under my hat. And in doing so, I've had a chance to see most of the coursework that most of you have been doing for a long time, because Business 411 is, as you well know, it's at the end of your program. It's intended to be what I'm calling the de facto capstone course, but really it's intended to be the end. This is where you put together everything that you've learned up to this point. This is where we try to stitch together all the little bits and pieces into one fabric of knowledge. So we're going to be doing some very, I think, interesting things, and we're going to be doing them in some ways that maybe are a little different than what you've been used to, which is why I thought I'd spend some time talking to you about it. Okay. The name Business Policy Seminar has been on this course for a long time, and maybe it doesn't quite do it justice, but as we go along, I think you'll see very rapidly that this is really a course in strategic thinking and in critical thinking and in decision making. It's how do we solve problems in a business setting. Now, prior to my coming to Post, I had over 30 years in the business world, and you can tell by the grayness of the beard and the whack of the hair up here that I have been around for a while. So I'm not exactly a rookie at this, and actually was a partner in a consulting firm where we specialized in strategic thinking and strategic planning and change management. So I do have some practical background that I hope to share with you. Also, I've done a lot of studying and reading in this field, and it's one of the most fascinating fields in business that you can come up with. So I think, as I said, you're going to find it interesting. I even think you might, I'm going to go out on a limb here, you might have fun. All right, so now that I've said a little bit about what the course is about, let's talk a little bit about how it's going to work. What can you expect? One of the things that I try to do in this course is try to simulate the conditions that you would find at an executive level in the business world. You're going to be asked to absorb a lot of material in a very short time. Remember, this is an accelerated course. It's 8 weeks. This is stuff we would normally do in a much longer time frame. So 8 weeks is not that much to get this done. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to look at the way some very prominent theorists have looked at the question of strategy. We're going to look at how they've applied those theories. We're going to look at how you can apply those theories and how you can solve some very high-level problems and give you some practical hands-on ways of doing that. Method-wise, you're going to see that there's not a lot of make-work assignments. I like to tell people that this is going to be the course where it seems like we have no homework, no homework, no homework, and suddenly you've got a lot to do. And actually, I'd like you to think of it that you've got a lot to do right from day one, when hopefully you're watching this video on day one. Important to stay ahead of things. There's a lot of material to read. There's a lot of material to watch and listen to. I try to keep it as interactive as I can. A couple of points about how we're going to do this. The method, when I say interactive, the method is going to be through the discussion board. So each week there is a discussion board with a question that is relative to the week's material. All right? Each discussion board is worth 100 points. The quality of the discussion board work is critical. And I have to tell you right now, the last class, the one that just wrapped up yesterday, was so outstanding that you've got a tough act to follow. But I'm sure you can do it. Okay? The idea is to be knowledgeable, to be interactive, to discuss with your peers in the class the material that's being presented. You'll find that my method when I'm working in this particular class, Business 411, particularly because it is at a 400 level, I do not participate in the discussions as actively as some instructors might, as long as the discussion is going along well. There's really no need for me to do that. So what I'm going to tell you right now is, while I may not answer every post, I definitely read every post. And at the end of the week, I try to give you comments and feedback about how you're doing. What did you do? What did you talk about? Yes, the how you do it is important. I do expect things to be grammatically correct. I expect them to be expressed well. Part of it is communication is part of business. So we're going to be working on that. Discussion board is one of the major components of the class. So I said 8 discussion boards, 100 points each. The other component of the class, and this is what makes a lot of people uncomfortable, you're going to find that there's no quizzes, there are no tests. What there is a major project to have you working on and solving what was a real world business problem. I've taken a real world situation that occurred some time ago, turned it into a case study, and you're going to be working on that. And now here's the dreaded thing: in groups to solve the problem. Why? I mentioned communication. Well, collaboration is an important thing in business. And we're going to have a lot of collaboration for you to handle this 200-point assignment. So unless we do something special otherwise, the grading system is going to be pretty simple, right? 8 discussion boards of 100 points, a major project of 200 points. 1,000 points available. Should make it fairly simple to figure out where you stand. But understand this: in this kind of course, where, as I said, there are no quizzes, there are no tests, the grading is, I will admit, subjective. And I think I go out of my way to be very fair to everyone. So just because you don't agree with what I put in the lecture doesn't mean I'm going to grade your paper, or excuse me, not your paper because there aren't any, your discussion or your project any worse. I love it when people disagree with me, as long as it's a rational, well thought out, evidence-based discussion that we're having. That's great. That's what it's all about at this level. In this level, of course, the senior capstone, the burden of learning, I believe, falls upon you. I'm just here as the facilitator and trying to set up situations in which you get a chance to put everything that you've done together and to use your business knowledge and to really display some creativity and some critical thinking. So it's going to make some people uncomfortable. I know that up front. I just got through reading most of the course surveys from the last course, and always there's one person who, in this case it was one person, I can tell by the numbers. By the way, the surveys are anonymous, so I don't know who it was, but who thought that what I just described to you was absolutely unfair, ridiculous, and he would never take this course. He was outvoted by about 10 to 1 by people who thought it was a wonderful experience and great and really glad that they had it. So I'll go with the vast majority there. But I just want you to know right up front, it's going to be different. It's hopefully like nothing you've ever experienced before in your academic career. Bear with me on it. And the thing you can always do, feel free to communicate with me and ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions to your peers in the class, okay? But ask questions of me. I try to get back to you as soon as possible. I am not an instructor who checks into the course a couple of times a week. I check into it 3, 4, 5, 8 times a day. Okay, I do my best to get back to people. Okay, it's nothing. I require my instructors to do that. It's nothing I don't do myself. So I do believe I'm rather accessible. The best way to contact me is by email. And when you do that, I will get back to you the same day in 99% of the cases. So please stay in touch with me. And anytime you have an issue, a problem, a question, get to me right away. I'll get back to you as fast as I can. All right? So the expectations are, I've just thrown a lot of things at you. You're going to see as you go into this first week, I'm going to start talking right away about some pretty high-level concepts that people use in developing strategy. and you're going to see terms thrown around like mission and values and vision and all these things that you've seen maybe printed on nice little slogans and plaques in company lobbies, and you see it up there and say, "Oh, what's that all about?" But what we're going to start doing this week is start to look at that material and say, what is it really? How does it affect things? Is this really serious stuff? Because what we're going to find, as our text tells us this week, these are the first steps, the building blocks of developing a very important concept, which is competitive advantage. Business clearly is a competitive field. What are we trying to do when we're running our businesses? We're trying to develop competitive advantage that allows us to be more profitable, more successful, better than the competition. We want to be around. We want to be the leader. I think you may see in a slideshow I put out later in the course, but I'll quote one of its slides right now. This is a quote from a rather famous artist, Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. Not the last person, maybe the last person you thought I'd be quoting in a business course, but he's quoted as saying, "You don't want to be thought of as being among the best at what you do. You want to be thought of as the only ones who do what you do." That's a pretty profound statement when you look at it. So we're beginning a work of, I think, a really interesting challenge, a really different look at business, a way for everything to be put together, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I have some high expectations out of this course. I hope you do too. And as I said, the biggest thing for you guys to do, ask questions. Another quick request too. I have a tendency, probably because I'm such a bad typist, to record a lot of messages back to the class. I try to do a weekly introduction and maybe a commentary in the middle of the week. If I see the discussion board taking a certain direction, I may just get out the camera like I'm doing tonight and record a message back to the whole class and slip it in the discussion board. When I put these things up, please, it's not because I love to hear myself talk. I do want you to watch the videos. I put them together and I put links into the course. They go into YouTube videos. There's a whole library of them there. And again, it's not for entertainment. This is a major way I'm going to be communicating a lot of the course material and a lot of the messages back to you. So when you see one of those YouTube links, one of those little icons get embedded in the course where it says Intro to Week 1 or Comments on X, please watch it. It's important. It's where I'm going to be sticking my nose in and telling you what I think we are doing, have been doing, should be doing, where we're going, is my thoughts on something. And you'll find that there's cases where my thoughts don't necessarily agree with what you're reading in the text or the other experts that I'm presenting. So this is going to be, like I said, this is you've now spent 3.5, almost 4 years going to trade school. Now welcome to college. This is what it's all about. This is where we develop some real intellectual challenge. I'm really looking forward to working with you all, and we start tonight. Ask questions, think, read, listen, analyze, be critical, be creative, have some fun, but let's try to put it all together and have a great experience together. Okay? Thanks very much.